So folk will be able to do something at the end. They'll have some marching orders. They'll have ways of becoming involved. And there's over 24 nonprofit justice-oriented groups already signed up, like UU Justice Ohio. Of course, Our Revolution is kind of our foundation here. Single Payer Action Network, the Kalin Institute, League of Women Voters, Simply Living, League of Women, I already said that, Sierra Club here in Ohio, Freedom Block, unions of Service Employees International, Crazy Faith Ministry, Ohio Council of Churches, Faith in Public Life, Our Voices Together, that's fighting anti-protest legislation, Socialist Alternative. There'll be LGBTQ groups. I mean, in other words, a lot of folk coming together. We're going to start with some issues around fair maps and redistricting and voting rights and First Amendment protest rights, because, you know, these are threatened here in Ohio, but they provide the foundation, the bedrock that we need in order to address the other injustices. Then we're going to hear about some of those injustices and how we can address those, including, you know, the freedom to exercise the vote, freedom to speak up and protest. So I'm inviting everybody to come and join us 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. August 28th. And as I said, I'm going to put a sign up link into the chat right now. And Kathy, is there any?
Kathy already did that, so.
Oh, she did. Well, bless her. Okay.
And
That's
she
cool.
put in the list, the right now list of supporters.
Good. Good. Because every day I'm getting more people on board who want to be part of this, because we're too long in our silos. You know, we got this little silo here in this issue. We got this little silo here in this issue. We've got to come together if we're going to put our energies towards the kind of synergy we need to really make a difference.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. And if you want to join, you know where Northeast Broadway is. That's right at High Street and Broadway, right at the Kroger's there in Clintonville. We'll be there at 12 with the peace action that's been going on since 2003, at least since 2003 at that location. They'll be there at 12. If you want to help come in a little early and help set up for the 1 to 3, that'd be great. 1 to 3, we're hoping to take all 4 corners, that we have enough people there to take all 4 corners, and it will be an exciting time. Hopefully we will be able to rock Clintonville like we did in the early days of 2003 when we had 500 people out on the corners there. So please encourage folks to show up on the 28th. It is a historic day. We do have dreams still. We still have dreams. And as one brother told me one time, he said, Dr. King didn't get killed because he had a dream. It's because he woke up. So there you go. Let's see. Kathy, you had some announcements for Simply Living. I don't still see Julia Lynn or Quasi in, so they may not be able to join us, but I'll cover their issues unless there's, go ahead, Kathy, and I'll talk about that a little bit second.
Yeah, Julia Lynn's a great person. Hopefully she can get on, but so I'm, as many people here know, the new director for Simply Living. We're in the middle of a big project on a database transition that I hope will lead us to be able to track people better and get your newsletters to you by email, track when you attend our events and things like that. But we are exploding with events. Our volunteers are organizing a lot of events. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of some of them that are coming up. Next Wednesday is Randall Loop is speaking about aligning the spirit of living and money. So it's a preview of a course he's going to do next winter on your money or your life. It's about how to align where you spend your money with your, your values, your calling, also where you manage to make any money off of that. And he's been teaching this course for a long, long time. So I'm actually really looking forward to that myself. That's next Wednesday at 7. Also, we're co-sponsoring the Justice for All that Reverend Joan talked about. We're also co-sponsoring with Columbus Stand Up, a series of environmental justice talks. So they're going to hold 4 community dialogues basically about environmental justice. The first one is Sunday, August 22nd at 2 p.m. At the Barnett branch of the Public Library. That is right next to the Colonial Arms Apartments, which the Dispatch recently wrote about as being a really problem place. And so they want to have the people who live in this neighborhood talk about what they deal with in terms of environmental justice, you know, on a daily basis. And these are, and so they want to listen to areas and neighborhoods where people are not often listened to and their voices need to be heard. And so we'll let you know when the next ones are coming up, but that's the first one is the 22nd. Then also on the 28th, but mainly on the 29th, there's a film called The New Corporation. And this is part of our democracy series. So it talks about the corporate takeover of society justified by the rebranding of corporations as socially conscious entities. So you've probably heard of, you know, corporate social responsibility and how much of it is real and how much of it isn't. So that's what this film is about. If you register for it, you get a link to the film on the 28th. You have 24 hours to watch it. And then there's a discussion at 2 p.m. on Sunday, August 29th with the outreach director for Move to Amend. And even if you don't manage to see the film, you can come to the discussion either way. And I have a link here. Oh, let's put that in the chat. That's the link there to register for the new corporation. And then we just lined up another event is in September. It's a tour of the Swaco landfill down in Grove City. And I was just at Grove City Eco Fest today. And this is like everybody took a flyer about that because people are really interested in touring the landfill. As we know, when we throw things away, they don't go away. They mostly go to the landfill. So that's Monday, September 13th, arrive by 9:45. There's room for 40 on a bus that goes out there. They don't let you drive your cars out there. There's a little presentation by Swaco personnel first, and you can ask tours a lot. And so that will be very interesting. I mean, we intend to do more tours like of the recycling center, the wastewater treatment plant, possibly the city's tree nursery. So we want this to be the first of several tours of this type. Next one is
if you ever want to smell methane very strong, go to the landfill. Yes.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be capping that and using that methane. So that's actually something I want to check into, is they're supposed to be using that for fuel for their buses. Well, I want to see what's going on with that.
Yeah.
So then in September 22nd, an author talk with Paul Robinson, who wrote Global Warming, Can It Be Stopped? That's going to be at the Whetstone Library, and I put the registration link for that. He's going to talk about the science, psychology, and morality of climate change. And then I don't have links for the next couple of items, but we have, just to give you a heads up, we have 2 discussion courses starting up in mid to late September on, they're from the Northwest Earth Institute, which is now called Eco Challenge, but we've done a lot of these in the past, about 6-week discussion series. We have one on voluntary simplicity to be taught by Jeff Sharp of the School of Environment and Natural Resources. And then one by one of our former board members named Dan Baresh on systems. You know, like, I mean, we talk a lot, like Araya was just talking a lot about systems and how different systems work together or maybe don't work together because they're out of balance. And the last thing I'll put in the chat is a save the date for October 20th. That's a Wednesday night, doors open 5:30. This is our annual Gift to Be Simple. This is going to be, we're going to have a short presentation kind of about simply living and our impact on the community with people who we've worked with over the years. But it's also going to be a lot of, we're going to have business members there and a lot of networking, you know, so we want to give people time to talk to each other. And this is going to be at the Scioto Audubon Metro Park at the Grange Insurance Center, which is a beautiful spot. So we hope you all can put that on your calendar, and we'll have more soon about how to make that.
Thanks, Kathy.
It looks like there's a question.
Yeah, Verb, what you got?
Hi, mine was actually just another event really, so I can go last if that's all right.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah, well,
not,
that's fine.
I was actually just typing it in the chat. I could probably just do that and leave it at that. But
That'll work.
yeah, I'm not good at Zoom, so I didn't.
No worries.
All right,
Yeah,
sure.
so just
You
let
will
me
get
check
better.
our check our website for all of these events and our Friday email newsletter that comes out. If you don't get that, sign up for that, because Chuck Lynn puts that together and it has everything, like anything about sustainability, whether it's our event or someone else's. We put it in there, and yeah, just keep in touch. We'd love to see you at some of this.
Thank you. Yeah, Simply Living and Uriah and other folks, Julia Lynn, Walker, Quasi, Lowe, and Morgan Harper with the Stand Up Columbus. They're all really looking at how is Columbus to be sustained? How are we to be sustainable, and really to understand that struggle, where we need to go. Verbs, why don't you mention this? It's about Julius Tate. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Julius Tate was murdered by a SWAT team. Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly how it went down. I did hear it because it was right by my house. But he was 16 years old. Was set up in some kind of Craigslist scam thing, and got shot like 11 times. His mother is putting together 16 days of protest in September. I don't yet know which days they are, but I can get that information soon. I just heard about it this morning on her live feed. But if people can get out, even just a day or two of that, like as many people as come, some of it will be marching from the State House and stuff like that. Sometimes it will be at the place where he was killed, which is at Mount Vernon and Champion, on the east side. And things will change up. We did 11 days last year, and it's going to be 16 this year, 16 days. And I can get more information later, but Julius Tate is a name we don't want to forget.
If you send that in to Suzanne and or to me, and I'll make sure we get that posted out.
Okay, we'll do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We were going to have conversation about the environmental justice talks, but evidently they weren't able to make it. Morgan is out of town today, so she had asked someone to join. I don't see them on, so we're good. Any other quick announcements before we start just going free for all here? Thank you again, everybody. Listen, Free Press is a progressive community. We need to be about progress. We need to be about not staying where we're at as a society, and really moving the needle forward on the record, the album record. We need to move it forward so that, or take the football down the field, however we want to talk, whatever analogy you want to talk about. We need to get it closer to the goals that we're talking, and that is sustainability. And how does Free Press as an organization, as a community, express that? And that's why we are continuing with these salons. We hope that we'll go live sometime after the new year. We're still not sure where we're at with that. We have our Free Press Salon online until December 2022, so we're good to go with that. But we are going to hopefully have some in-person events coming up. Yeah, the Delta, now the Lambda, and all the other realities are out there. So we need to understand that we have to maintain ourselves and be safe and be sustainable. So just had a funeral. I don't know if many people knew Howard Crane, but he died of COVID this year. He was a professor at Ohio State, Middle Eastern expert, in architecture and other things. Very, very progressive, very good person. But he had his funeral today. And I don't know if anybody remembered Nick Crane, his son. He was very active with us back in the 80s and 90s. But he's moved on out to the West, out into Wyoming, and be a professor out in Wyoming. So any other announcements? Yeah, go ahead, Sandy.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the chat now. So September 18th, from 10 to 11:30 a.m., it's in the chat. Move to Men, Ohio is going to have another one of our statewide events. And this one is going to be about the 14th Amendment and connecting that with repeal qualified immunity. There's a lot of connections some of you might be surprised to hear. And so we'll have the speakers out and all that, but just if you can mark your calendars, September 18th in the morning, and we'll have some information on that next week. And you can follow Connie's newsletter, and hopefully you're signed up for Move to Men, because that's the easiest way to get this kind of information up to date and right into your box. We don't send a lot otherwise. So that's it.
I get the Move to Men information. Thank you very much. Keeping me up to date. I know what's going on.
Mark, I wouldn't mind saying one other thing, and I'm going to be quick because it doesn't really fit into anything. But I was at the last city council meeting because people are speaking. Think a lot of you on this call, in fact, have been speaking about Columbus Community Bill of Rights. City council has refused to address it. Forget supporting it. They have tried to squash it. And so people are speaking out about it at different city council meetings. And I was at the last one. And the way they treat speakers, the way they run their meetings, it's just deplorable. It's not about democracy at all. It's about the status quo. There were 3 non-agenda speakers. I was one of them. I did not speak until 12:25 in the morning because they went that long, but there's no reason that they have to have the zoning meetings at the same time that they have the people's business. Although the zoning meeting is also the people's business. They need to separate those things. It happens like this all the time. We are treated as if what we have to say is not important. They do not record us at the end, which caused a lot of great confusion. I wasn't sure if I was on or not, or for all I know, the city council members are listening, maybe not. So I'm just throwing that out. We have got to change city council, the whole thing.
It came into being when your great mayor was council president. He got into a back and forth with somebody, and he decided that he didn't want it on the video anymore. So that became then that your great mayor. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, keep us up to date with what's going on with Move to Men, please. Brian, WGRN,
Yes.
WCRS,
Yes.
come on.
WCRS, all right. The 28th at Double Happiness, they are having a fundraiser with WCRS DJs performing sets indoors and outdoors. Masks are required inside of Double Happiness. They are not requiring masks outdoors. And that's August 28th from 2 to 11 p.m. And I put that in the chat, but I'm pretty sure it's been eclipsed by all of Kathy Becker-Cowens' announcements. But I see it if you scroll up a bit. But it's Double Happiness, which is at Front Street, just south of downtown, in the Brewery District, across from Shadowbox.
Thank you. Yeah, and Double Happiness is very good food. So
yeah, I was hoping to hear from Dr. Julia Lynn, because she's done a lot of great things with the community gardens in the Near East Side, and community gardens in the Near East Side are aligning together, collaborating together, they're meeting together, actually meeting together. They've had events at the various gardens throughout the neighborhood to show this community, a collective community of gardens, and in a time that where we lost our beloved Cosset Street Garden earlier this year. I mean, if these smaller community gardens, if they can all band together, that would be great to show a sense of camaraderie.
Agreed. And if you've never been to the Bronzeville Growers Market, it is happening, I believe, Thursdays at 18th and Mount Vernon, and it is in where the Willoughbys had their what is that semi truck thing and the stage. It is dynamic. I mean, if you go there, the growers are there. I mean, they have music and all kinds of things. It's a great event. So if you can ever make it out to the growers market, that's great. And there are many other grower markets growing, and that is a whole new reality. And I was Julia Lynn, I don't know what happened, but she was ready to present those kind of options to us. So please let you know that they're out there, they're doing their good work. As Brian said, they are a consortium of gardens that are on the Near East side of town. Bronzeville is, along Long and Mount Vernon, between the freeway, 71 and on out to Taylor, I would say. Maybe short of that, maybe Ohio. I don't know what Bronzeville is actually calling themselves right now, but Nobo is there. There's all different kinds, but Bronzeville is reclaiming history that we need to honor and be part of. So thank you, Brian, for doing that. And yeah, www.cris fundraiser, please get down there if you can. It's not being done. It's not, I guess, an official fundraiser, but it is a fundraiser by some DJs that are running the CRS. Is that correct?
Yeah, all DJs that have shows on WCRS, it's a suggested $10 donation. They will not turn you away if you don't have the $10.
But definitely, Double Happiness is great food down there. So go eat and enjoy the experience if you can. That's on the 28th as well. So yeah, the 28th is starting to pack up like it has. The 14th packed up pretty good. The 18th, today was pretty. Started at 7 this morning with the wellness walk, and all the way till even tonight. There's things going on. Oh, there you go, Brian. Did you walk? Or just get the shirt?
I did the 3+ miles, but yeah.
Good. Yeah, but I heard it was a great event, and
he's performing tonight at the Tomato Festival.
Fantastic. Thank you. So we're going to go sort of now into sort of a free-for-all in a way. Yeah, Bronzeville, you Taylor, Jefferson, Broad Street. Yeah. So it only goes to Jefferson. Okay. Not all the way over to yeah. Okay, good. What is this? Kathy just put a Grove City Echo Fest this morning. Yeah. There so many things happen. When we started Oregon, we did a JPR celebration today, Joy, Perseverance, and Resilience. We had a great show tonight. A band that no one has ever heard because it had never existed. They're jazz instructors and performers that are part of Harmony Project, that are part of Fort Hayes and a whole lot of other spots, but they've never all played together except at this place. We're going to have that videotape and be able to push that out. It was a great experience today. If you've not heard good jazz in a while, it was good jazz today. I mean, I hear some sloppy folks that call themselves jazz players, but this was good jazz today. And we walked through the history from all the way back in the slave days to now, and how music has been used to join people in resistance to oppression and resistance. So we do need to always understand the cultural aspects. That's why we've always thought radio was so important. I mean, within the free press community, And Ronald is playing right now, but he's on mute. So that, and maybe he could play a little bit for us. I don't know. Hey, he's practicing. So no, all right. So let's do sort of a free for all. If anybody has anything that he would like to share, talk about, Ellen Baumgartner, do you have anything you'd like to talk? No, I thought you were leaning into that screen for something. All right. Bob, it's great to see you on the camera, and keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing it and keep getting better and better, okay? We expect to see you soon, all right? All right. Anybody got anything? Stephen and I usually hang on for another 40 minutes after everybody else signs off. So we start talking about crazy stuff. So if you want to just talk crazy, start talking crazy. Go ahead, Stephen. Start talking
Yeah, I
crazy.
was gonna ask. Yeah, you're crazy. Mary Jane, who is the doctor in Pickerington? Mary Jane Borden, can you unmute? Who's the doctor in Pickerington for
For the
user
medical
license?
cards? For medical cards,
Yeah.
you mean? Or yeah,
Yeah,
Dr. Bridget Williams.
Dr. Wood.
Bridget?
Dr. Bridget Williams, can you hear me?
Bridget.
Yeah, everybody, you
Okay.
guys are sort of quiet. I know you're quiet. You're timid people. I know. No, you're not timid people. Come on now, step it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridget,
You're allowed to mute.
she's out that way. Yeah.
Joe
Thank you,
Motil
Mary Jane.
had something on Facebook about there are a bunch of anti-maskers who are going to go protest at Natalie's to this evening because Natalie has a mask policy and they have a problem with that.
Yeah,
I was wondering what happened. I was hoping somebody stopped the mud hole in a couple of those anti-vaxxers. Because I'm about fed up with them. I'm
Yeah.
fed up with anybody who doesn't want to take.
There were over 200,000 that came out in Paris today that were anti-masker, yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, Paul's here. He was there tonight. He can tell you about it.
Oh, good, please.
Okay, good.
Okay, so there were maybe 30 to 50 protesters. Proud Boys showed up with them,
Oh, lovely.
at least half a dozen. About hour 15 minutes in, some guy showed up on a bicycle and started to attack the photographers. He punched one guy. He came after me. I'm not proud. I ran into Natalie's and the crowd got between him and me and acted as a barrier. At least 4 or 5 people called the police and they got there about 15, 20 minutes later and he was gone by then. But did get kind of intense toward the end.
What was his issue? Just to come and cause problems, or what
He
was
didn't
it?
want people to be taking photographs.
Oh,
Why was he even there?
Did
There for the
Natalie,
protest.
Oh, he was there for the protest and didn't like that he was going to get.
Yeah, he didn't want
photographed?
people to be taking
wanted to have a
photographs.
public protest, but not to be photographed. Oh, okay,
A protest for freedom. But you're
yeah.
not allowed to take pictures.
Yeah, it ain't that big.
It's sort of a strange concept that's going on there right now. Yeah.
These
Yeah.
people are batshit crazy.
They are. They
I
really
hate
are.
to say it.
Oh, yeah.
God help me, I hate to say it.
I can't
They're
say
batshit
everyone
crazy.
is, but there are some crazies in there. But I cannot label everyone. I mean, with the Winnie and our board has been going through a lot of internal discussion about how to address this conversation, because it has to be a conversation. Cannot just be calling people names. We have to figure out, where are you coming from? What is going on? What is your source of information? Why are you at this point in your life, right?
Newsmax, ONN, Facebook groups.
Yeah, but those are not real news agencies. So
No, that's the issue though. It's not real news. And that's what they choose to believe. They don't want anything to do with the truth, Mark. I've tried to reason with these people. I've tried to be a nice guy. Well, I'll tell you what, the asshole side of Charlie's about to come out. because I've had it. We're in a situation with this pandemic due to the fact that they won't do what the rest of us did. They don't give a shit about any of us. All they give a shit about is them.
Yeah, my quick response to anybody talking that way, I always say, your rights end at the end of my nose.
Excellent. That's what
I
Randy.
mean, it'll
That's
be
how I've
better
been telling
time to
people.
start
I'm like,
calling
you
them.
can have all the rights you want, but they end at my nose. And I don't
Oh,
care if
yeah.
you're throwing a punch or if you're throwing craziness at me. So that's sort of how I'm responding to anybody that's out there.
So yeah, this week.
The mayor did issue Monday, all indoor venues will be masked. And we'll see how that's responded to by folks, even among our progressives. We have folks that are not totally down with progressives, are not totally down with masks either. So
And then there's also the schools as well, because this week in Worthington, there's a school board member who tweeted out these anti-masking parents, calling them white supremacists.
yeah,
And they're like people who want to petition him to be removed.
yeah, that's Sam. I know. I'm sorry Sam made that mistake. He can make some mistakes, but
Remember back in the day, people used to say, what is your function? Back in the day, people used to say, what is your function?
Yeah. I mean, it started
what is your major malfunction?
Yeah, a lot of this started back in 1999 in a lot of ways when Yugoslavia was getting bombed, and we had a lot of crazy or confused, and then you get into Syria, you get into a lot of these political issues that people are hearing things and they get really discombobulated, and it's a challenge to bring people along a progressive path. It really is. But I think we do need to engage in some kind of, I don't know if it's conversation or if it's putting things out there. We haven't really put things out there strong of what is a good people's position on this subject. I think we really need to do that as I know as a board we're talking that.
Hey, Mark.
Will, are you wanting to say something?
Yes.
You got to go to the bathroom.
No, yeah, I got that too. No, the upside to the anti-masking thing is that it's part of a natural pruning process, if you will, to where they're perpetuating this thinning of the herd, and I think it's going to come back to be their own herd. You know, some innocent people are going to get hurt in the meantime, but I think you know, when all the dust settles, they're the ones that are going to take the big hit on this.
Yeah, I've been lightheartedly saying it's a GOP genocide, but
it is.
Yeah,
it's more of a Trump genocide.
Yeah, it's not the total.
What happened?
But who is not GOP and Trump at this point? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why Stivers.
What happened back in 1918 when people were wearing masks, and it was an accepted thing when there was World War II going on, and people all pitched in. And,
World War I.
You know, they tried to get things done. You know, whether you're for the war or not. I mean, there was some, you know, group effort there. I guess there was always dissenters, and you know that happens, but
yeah,
I don't know. Is it more prevalent now? Maybe.
Mary Jane, jump to a whole other conversation.
All these vaccines that we are wasting and letting expire, why in the blue hell aren't they going overseas to places in the third world that need them? Because if we don't kill this pandemic globally, we'll never kill it. It will become endemic.
Yeah, that is true. The vaccination apartheid is true. Mary Jane, I have a question on all these new Strawberry Fields is in Eastmore just starting up. All these new places that are starting up. What is the legality? Where are we at with this with the medical distribution and all that other stuff? I know you are the heat of that information.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate the kind compliment. Where are we at? Well, we're still working off of HB 523 as the law in the state of Ohio. HB 523 is the bill that was passed in 2016 that set up the medical marijuana program. And it's now 5 years young. And I'm really kind of proud of it because we worked really hard to get that bill passed and, advocate for cannabis over probably 20 some years. Obviously Bob was involved with that very early on. And he's kind of one of the seeds that got it all planted to get it going. And so with the new ones that would just open up, there's the one that's Jimmy Gould's, if you're a responsible Ohio fame, that's his, the Strawberry Fields. It's just an East Bexley. And the other one is one that I think, is it the one that resulted from a lawsuit or something delayed its opening? The one that's in Clintonville. And I don't think it's fully open yet. It's going to come open, I think, in about a couple of weeks. I mean, fully operationally open. But these are still part of the dispensaries that were awarded a provisional license in the first go round that was actually occurred around 2017. And so that's just the first phase here. Now the pharmacy board has determined that there are not enough pharmacies. Pharmacy now, because I think a dispensary is kind of a pharmacy in its way. There are not enough dispensaries in Ohio, and they've allocated resources to create another 73. That's a big jump because that's more than doubling the existing number of dispensaries, which I think is around 50, 55 or so right now. So that's a pretty big jump. Those are down the road. They're still creating the applications and things like that they're going to do it differently this time. It's not going to be rank ordered so much as it's going to be a lottery, is my understanding. So those are still down the road. But I think there's still, in terms of the cultivators that are supporting those dispensaries, I think there's still a few cultivators who are not received their operational licenses. So maybe we're still slightly short of that. But by and large, the program, here 5 years out has rolled out, and I think it's fully operational. It's an advisory committee closed down operation. It closed actually down operation in early October, but it had its last meeting this past Thursday. So this program is moving forward and moving. I think it's solid now. It's established. I think there's something like $380 million that have been sold through it of product. So I think that's really pretty good. I can keep going if there's any questions, or I could tell you also about a couple other things to the forefront, like ballot issues and legislation at the State House. What do you got questions now? Do you want me to proceed? What do you want to do?
What about what's in Congress about schedule, taking cannabis off of Schedule 1?
The federal possibility of moving
I've
that.
heard Congressmen talking about it, that the Congress is going to act to make the DEA take cannabis off of Schedule 1.
DEA really doesn't have the authority to do anything. I'm not sure
Well,
what they actually do other than hassle people. But Senator Schumer has introduced a bill. I can't remember its name. It's got CAOA or something like that as its acronym. Yeah. And this particular bill, it's kind of the Senate version of what they call the MORE Act, that was introduced by Representative Nadler into the House, probably I think around June, maybe late June. But in the Senate, because it's a House Senate kind of thing, and the obstacles, obviously, we've seen how difficult it is to get things past the Senate with the transportation bill and some of these other major pieces of legislation that Biden wants to accomplish, but they're getting stalled in the Senate for reasons that we can discuss here in a minute. But Senator Schumer has put forth what they call a discussion draft. Now, this is not the actual bill language, but it's kind of a thing he's floating out there to say, here's what I have in mind. And he has in mind, I think some fairly general. I think the general possession limit federally would be 10 ounces. Cannabis would be removed entirely from any type of scheduling, which is really the direction it should go. Cannabis does not need to be scheduled. It needs to maybe have its own regulatory agency, kind of like an ATF for cannabis, which I think is the direction they're moving.
And I think probably one of the things that's going to be interesting about seeing this bill move forward is it has a really strong emphasis in social equity. And there's language in there that I imagine that the Republicans are going to take objection to. And so I think another thing is it's going to tax at the rate, you know, you're going to have, if it was fully legal, and we got to accept this, folks, this is what it takes to be an adult. You got to pay taxes, you know, you got to pay taxes. So, you know, there's going to be a federal tax if this thing goes forward. I want to say something like 10%. You can see it in my article. I've got it all spelled out in my article. So go read my article. I'm going to try to repeat what I remembered writing in the article. So they're going to have a tax in it. And, you know, I could see where there's going to take some umbrage with the tax, and really taking that money that is in the tax and allocating to social justice programs. It's like 5 different funds that would go into something like that. So it's going to remain to be seen whether this actually makes it through the Senate. First, it's got to be put into bill format. Then it's got to be introduced in the Senate, and then it's got to have hearings, and it's got to have votes, got to have committees, and move on the floor. And then if it passes there, it's going to have to go, you know, have a reconciliation with the House bill. Hopefully, more bill will pass, you know, as it is in the House. Then it gets to Biden's desk. Now, won't that be interesting? Because here we have, who is it? The architect of the drug war, you know, and I don't know if he's,
Yes,
we can teach old dogs new tricks. I don't know. We're going to hope that we can, because he said that he was interested in some of these things, rescheduling, but not as rescheduling as much as we'd want to see it rescheduled or descheduled. But that would probably be interesting when it gets to, I don't really have a crystal ball to say which way it's going to go.
You don't know, you don't know Biden's mind. I would tell you Biden is going to be old Biden. He ain't going to change. He has not changed for 40 years. He ain't going to change. So, but yeah. So thank you, Mary Jane. And yeah, my brother lives right near Strawberry. We've been watching Strawberry get built, so it's been sort of fun watching that. And we look forward to frequently purchasing establishment there as we can. Thank you, everybody. Cliff, you haven't said anything. You got any hot news on the legal front anywhere? What's up? Anything? Yeah, so I'll get you off there. Tim, you got things, WGRN. Chuck, I see you joined us later. Jamie, you're on too, but you're all froze up. You got your like beautiful pictures.
Cliff's on.
Yeah, go ahead, Cliff.
Mark, I am following Robert Kennedy Jr. very closely, and as you probably know,
that's a challenge for us within our department, within our board. His anti-vaccine stuff is sort of strange.
He's not anti-vaccine. He's anti-unsafe vaccine, and I think he's really onto something. Yesterday, they won a lawsuit against the Federal Communications Commission on the 5G issue. So they're doing great work. He has a very good organization. I've been communicating with him for some time. As you know, he's one of the few people in the mainstream of politics who was a very strong supporter of the absolutely truthful fact that the 2004 election was stolen. So he's out there. I think he's right, and but I realize that puts me at odds with a lot of people on this on the screen, and as well as people in my family.
Yeah, the problem right now with that position, I would say, and Winnie, you're on, and you are much more adamant than I am on these things. But the position right now is a challenge because it's life and death for so many. I mean, we need to really figure out what's going on and we have so many of our brothers and sisters, and Howard, who just died, this past month, a good friend of mine, of COVID. And so it is a deadly disease. And we have to figure out what is society able to do, and willing to do. Is it just a simple distancing? I mean, if we could just distance, but I've seen we are not able to distance. We're not able to. We don't understand distancing. We're not, I mean, we used to have that personal distance experience, but we've gone total Middle Eastern in a lot of ways. We're like all up on each other all the time. And that's nothing against the Middle Eastern. I mean, I believe being up against each other is very important, and understanding how that relationship between body and body is so nice and important. Your position on Robert Kennedy Jr. is, we used him, well, not used him, we worked with him in the early 90s for the Walk Across America for Mother Earth. He was at our kickoff at City Hall at New York City when we were leaving from New York to go to the Vegas nuclear test site. So he's not totally off base on many things, but I don't know where he's coming from on this one. I don't know. Right now, when there's such diverse opinion, I understand, it's a challenge. I don't know. Thanks, Cliff, for sharing that. Yeah. Our board is in the crux right now of trying to figure out what are we allowing and what we don't want to allow on our base, on our website, on our what is printed, because we can't allow thought that is destructive, and that is a scary. Where are we at with that? That's my concern. I don't know. And Winnie, you're here. You've been very adamant in the board meetings. I don't know if you want to talk now live about that or not.
Winnie's got to unmute. She just.
There she goes. She got it. She turned her thing off at the same time she's turned her thing off. Go ahead, Winnie.
So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did a lot of great things in the past, but he's batshit crazy now. And he was censored by the media because he's promoting very dangerous misinformation and crazy talk, making it up. And we absolutely have got to take.
Winnie, when you people speak about that the FDA has not approved this vaccine in a full sense, it's only emergency. That's hard to argue against. It really is. It's hard to argue against. I hear it every day.
No, it isn't. They did test it. They just haven't tested it for years on end to affirm. But so far, it's been safe.
Yeah,
it has been safe, and if there's any problems, they rigorously start investigating whether it's a thing or not. And that's how every vaccine works. You test it, and then you and the fact that all these people are dying, and then once you get the vaccine, people are not dying, shows that it's not really unsafe.
Yeah, yes, I agree.
Yeah. So, I just don't even want to talk about it. It's just crazy.
I know. Thank you. Thank you for even sharing that. I know it's really gotten into your crawl, this whole
Good for you, Winnie.
to be a negative on health and where we're heading as a society. Yeah, the second, third generation of this virus is coming very strong. By October, it's coming, if not before. These kids going back to school, it's going to be there. How we deal with it, distancing is so important. If you can't spit on somebody 20 feet away from you, then that's probably the safest way. But I don't know. And Cliff, I don't want you to feel defensive in your support of Kennedy Jr. But he does need to figure out where he's fitting into what needs to be dealt with as a society. We do need to deal with this. We can't just say no. We got to deal with it somehow.
So in my
Yeah, I think-
family, my brother and my mother got polio. This is in the 40s.
Yeah.
And my father and my sister got tuberculosis in the 40s, and they hadn't released the only medicine effective against it until my father had suffered for 3 years and my sister had suffered for 1 year. And she now is 80 years old with COPD, and because of it. And vaccines made it so that by the time I was born in the 50s, I didn't have to worry about those illnesses. So, everyone has family stories like that. You've just forgotten it.
Smallpox.
Yeah, smallpox,
How many?
just goes on and on. I have a smallpox vaccination.
How many can raise that up? A lot of the young folks don't do that anymore. How many can raise this up and show that that we got? That we're the last generation. We're the last generation of that because smallpox was put out. Yeah. No, and it was always on the left arm. Was it always on the left arm? I'm trying to figure out that.
I think people kind of given up on deciphering for themselves what to think in a scientific realm, and they've just kind of given their souls away to conventional medical theories, which are great, and they're theories, and there is science behind a lot, 99.9% of it. Okay, I was raised by a doctor. My uncle's a brain surgeon. I got my first shot the other day. Okay, not a big deal. I don't care. I was not going to get the shot. Okay, but I did. It didn't affect me that much. I had a sore on my arm, and that was it. Some guy calls into Tom Hartman the other day. He goes, "Look, Tom, I got COVID. Okay, I got it once, and then I got the Delta virus, and I still haven't had my shot yet. Should I get the shot?" What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Tom Hartman got all flared up and he's all freaked out because, you got to go get your shot and you got to save humanity. I think people need to pay more attention to their health, how they're taking care of themselves, their immune systems, and all the screaming and hollering about getting the vaccine. That's great. Good. Get the vaccine. It's not going to kill you probably, but we have to put things in focus. We just can't start writing these assumptions around and then denigrating people because they want to think differently. Fine. Yeah, there's some people who are pretty much off the rails, and I give you that. But at the same time, we should be able to discuss scientifically without getting upset and being presumptive about the other person's predilections or whatever you may think they're thinking.
Yeah, I've got a nephew. Go ahead, Chuck.
I put some links in there. I confess that I'm with Cliff. RFK Jr. is not a crazy person. He's not off the rails. But people who have a tendency to, and all of us do, and I put another link. I put a link in there to the work that Charles Eisenstein has done on basically based on a philosopher that I'd never heard of. I think his name is Girard, Girard. I'm going to look it up. But I just read this stuff today, and he was arguing that from the beginning of civilization, from the time of, it's a natural societal impulse to, when things are a problem, to find a target to demonize. And I put the article in there from The Nation, which I think most of everybody recognizes that they're liberal and not bad. Where the point is that the problems with the
No, Chuck, they're okay. They're not the free press.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They're wannabes. But I put that in there because the point that the author makes on that article is that it's not the anti-vaxxers that are causing the problem. It's not the people who read Joe Mercola or RFK Jr., Children's Health Defense, Ronnie Cummins, who I think most people would agree with. But it's a more complex, nuanced situation. She says, we really need universal health care. The title of the thing is, what is it? I don't know, something about vaccination has never been free. And it's not for a lot of people who are not getting vaccinated. It's not because they're reading Joe Mercola. Yeah, he reaches several million people. The idea of like censoring these people is not something that all of you who, I'm sure we agree on almost everything, but I put this out there because Cliff's being silent, and also because I just read this stuff from Charles Eisenstein. I think it's called, anyway, it's about the kind of morality stories that we're telling about this and how we're at each other's throats on this, which is, I have the same issue. I've been vaccinated, my family, heavy pressure, especially since I have a daughter who has cancer. So, but I will just say a couple more things. If this assumption that we're going to have pandemics forever, you're not being told the truth about why we have pandemics. We know that in many cases we have basically used up all the arable land and taken away the land of our animals. We're in the 5th or 6th major extinction of life on Earth. We can't keep doing that. You don't hear the FDA saying, well, we need to redo our agriculture and fix the soil and those obvious things. You don't hear the public health agencies saying, take obvious precautions because there are big pharma medications or supplements that can help you protect from COVID. They're not telling you that we have an opportunity to deal with the health issues from poisonous food, from glyphosate. I'm just saying it's not as simple-minded as saying, hey, you guys who read this alternative stuff, are batshit crazy. We're not. And I get this all the time because I tend to read things that are new age or whatever. I have a degree in philosophy. I studied whatever. I don't need to justify myself. I feel like I'm a well-educated person.
Chuck, you are.
So is Cliff.
Yeah, Chuck and Cliff, you guys are very much part of the community. So we need to engage in how we discuss this, but we do need to understand, as you say, that's why we got this radical nutrition salon going tonight, is that we need to reevaluate where society is going as production of food, let alone how we're producing energy, how we're producing the economy in of itself. The society is not sustainable in the way we're doing it. We can talk about capitalism, we can talk about whatever else, but we're in a capitalist society right now. We're in a capitalist society, so we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to deal with it somehow.
You look at
get rid of the neoliberal economics.
You look at people working these factories for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
Okay, they get a half-hour break, that's it. That's it. In Newark, there is a factory doing that. Okay, Schwabel's in Newark wants to hire people for 12 hours a day. How many days, they didn't say. But you know, the thing that workers are this endless font of physical labor that just goes on, and they will run you into the ground, and you will have nothing to say about it until you cannot get up off the ground. You will not be able to get off the ground. And then you go to workman's comp and they say, sorry, has nothing to do with your job, when 5 doctors tell you that it did. And then they have the one doctor from the state look at you and he, you know, blows you off. So this is, it's about plantation slavery mentality in our society. And if we don't start treating people with the respect that they need to be treated with, then as a quality of life issue, that whole substrate of human flesh is denigrated, and then you can get more disease. That's one.
I mean, they're saying what? Amazon is now a carbon drawer, not a carbon freer. You know, the only one left is in the Congo now, the rainforest. That's the only one left on this planet. We're in a point of somewhere, I don't know where we're at in human history, but we're somewhere that needs to be about some radical change. So if it's more hemp, let's do it. If it's more this, do it. If it's that, you know, we need to go from seed to disposal, and that's why we wanted to talk about that today, and really to start describing a community response, something that Free Press can start writing about. You know, please, all y'all, we have, you know, a bunch of people on this video still that can write, are able to write. Please write for the Free Press. We need your input. We need it. So please, your insights, your thinking. Yeah, we may not agree totally on everything. We may not, as we don't on some of the subjects we talked about tonight. But we do need to have a thorough discussion about where we're heading as a society. We really do. Sibley, are you good? Where are you at? Where are you at? I see you looking over the shoulder. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Thank you.
Are you guys moved? You guys left the state, didn't you?
We're in northern Michigan, enjoying the
Cool.
It's lovely.
So short of the UP or up?
Yes, we're in the Leelanau Peninsula, Northport, Michigan.
You're up north. Okay, up,
Yep.
up UP and.
No,
it's not UP.
Not the UP.
Oh, not you, just short of that,
It's a
Right.
little finger that goes into Lake Michigan.
just before the bridge.
Oh, yeah, I know where you're at. I know exactly where you're at.
North of Traverse City.
It's pretty up there.
It's gorgeous.
Ah, nice.
We're loving it. We
Nice.
got family here and it's wonderful.
Very good.
I'm-
Okay, Will Perkins, what are you doing down there?
What's that?
What are you doing? Stop it.
I'm,
Are you thrashing wheat?
I'm breaking in a ball glove.
Tekla, are you with us still? I need to hear from you, Tekla, please. Please, where are you at this month? Where are you at? What are you doing?
She might be away from the
She
computer.
might just be listening and not really wanting to respond. I hear you. But Tekla, it's great seeing you on, and thank you for being here. Every month you at least sign in. Andre, you're here. Do you want to share anything about what's going on in your part of the world and what you want to do?
Sure, yes. I guess I'm busy with my run for the Upper Arlington City Council. So I managed to get my nominating petition in on time. And I assume that it will be accepted because I just got a call from Michael Saxton, who actually is on the Board of Elections, kind of looking whether people have qualified to get on. So he called to see if I was interested in being endorsed by the county party. And since that would probably lead to a lot of support by the Democrats in Upper Arlington, I agreed to go for an endorsement interview. I also signed up for Senator Sherrod Brown's endorsement sort of workshop. So maybe that that will happen as well. And I'm doing that with Our Revolution as well. So it's the Upper Arlington race. It's for 4 positions. There are 3 incumbents. The incumbents are all Republicans. And among us, the 4 new people to the race, 3 of us are registered Democrats and 1 is unaffiliated. So
I have noticed the conversation in the media, the mainstream media, about how the suburbanites are starting to quote unquote diversify. So where's that discussion in Upper Arlington?
Well, I think the sort of the most obvious example of that is that one of the candidates, Ukeme Awakasi Jetta, is a Nigerian lady. So that really is something, you know, that Upper Arlington should be proud of, to have a candidate like that. Kathy Adams works very hard for LGBTQ plus rights, and kind of my main point in the campaign would be environmental sustainability and fighting climate change. And I hope that Kathy will give me a lot of sort of points and intellectual help on that. She knows a lot more than I do. So, you know, the Republicans, I think, are running primarily on fiscal responsibility. And although the candidates don't talk about that directly, their supporters are sort of anti-CRT and anti-transgender bathrooms and those kind of policies. So yeah, that's the situation.
And you're on the ballot for November then, basically. Because
well,
before you're not there yet, but you want to.
I'm not there yet, but given Sexton's call, you know, he wouldn't bother calling if he didn't know that I wasn't there.
Yeah, before last month or the month before, you were still in the process of applying. So it's good to hear that you've moved forward on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Fantastic.
So essentially, I do have an ask, and that is, if you know anyone who's registered to vote in Upper Arlington, you know, just mention my name to them. I'd be grateful for that.
Yeah, I got about 4 people in my family that are there. So, and some of them that graduated from UA. So there you go.
I see.
All right, so anybody else? Jamie, you're all froze up. I don't know if you got anything going on. Ronald, anybody?
Hey,
Hey, Jamie.
Mark, I just want to ask Andre, is he familiar with, of course you're familiar with UA Equal, right? You know all those people there?
I'm familiar with its existence, but I haven't actually spoken to many people in there other than Kathy Adams.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure, yeah, they would be a good group, I would think, to to contact,
Mhm.
certainly.
Kathy just put in, if you're doing a canvassing event, let her know. She'll help however she can, so. All right. You froze up.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Jamie. Anybody else? We're getting to a 9 o'clock, which we're supposed to be done about an hour ago, but
Be able to-
Dr. Bob,
we just sort of go off the rails every so often, and there you go. Your internet connection is unstable. Oh my God, I don't want to be unstable. Oh my gosh, I don't want to. Look at all y'all froze up. You're all froze up. So I have instability. Instability. Oh my God, I'm instable. Oh, there we go. I see y'all now. Stephen, you are so unstable. Oh, Jamie, you're on now. Now you're live and in person. All right. You've been hanging out.
Mark, I have a
watching us.
comment.
Huh?
Sandy, let Sandy talk.
No, I can wait. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I'm just curious about what's going on. You know, I spoke earlier about my wonderful experience with the city council. Normally it's not that way.
Yeah.
And in fact, if anybody else wants to speak at city council, let me know, on behalf of the Columbus Community Bill of Rights. But is anybody, I just want to get rid of the whole kit and caboodle of city council. And
I was just
does
with
anybody know what's,
I was just with the president today, and he gave me a big hug, and he almost like lap danced on me. So
Oh, jeez.
That's sick.
Stephen. Yeah.
well, anyway, I want to know, you know, is are there people running? You may or may not know.
Yeah, they
but
are.
do you know if anybody's running? Is there Yes, We Can, I thought had a tremendous campaign. They did really, really well before, but the first time out the gate, of course, it's going to be hard. But I don't know, anybody know what's going on? Because this city council, it's not working. I'm reading Dennis Kucinich's book, which is excellent. If you haven't picked it up yet, do. I mean, it's
wanting to do that.
exactly what's happening here in Columbus all the time.
How's his campaign? Is his campaign going forward in Cleveland?
Last I heard it was, but I don't know anything
He's
new.
running for mayor again. That's pretty
He's
cool.
running for mayor. He was a mayor when I was up that way in the 70s. He protected the public utilities. I mean, the brother has been strong and consistent forever. So I hope he has.
One of the people that tried to screw him over was Art Modell.
Yeah.
Art Modell had a lot to do with his troubles.
Yeah. And so we know what we like about Modell and we don't like about.
Oh my God. Don't get
Well, read his book. It's fascinating. He's a fabulous writer. It's pretty difficult, complex, you know, minutia, every single page, but somehow it works. It's really interesting. So, and he gets in a lot of lessons about things that we're dealing with here, how the media was on the side of the big money and how they just the big money tries to make things seem more complex than they are, and how when city council moves, usually it's to the detriment of the majority of the people in the city, particularly those less well off. It's just everything. And I knew of Dennis Kucinich when I was younger because my family up in Cleveland didn't like him at all. They said, "Oh, he destroyed Cleveland."
No, he didn't.
You can see what really happened. That's what he was telling me.
I think it was the economic malaise that took over the whole United States. It wasn't just Cleveland. I mean, he was caught up in that whole thing.
So anyway, do we have any information? Is there any news on people running for city council or local things?
I have all that.
Oh, do share. Do tell.
Well, I mean, there's Lourdes and Pinkston. Pinkston? No, those are the up and coming guys that are running. I know a lot of folks. I mean, I'll put it in Free Press, how, but you know, those are all, the thing we are moving towards in the city council is we're expanding city council from 7 to 9. And they're going to be a mixture of district versus citywide type of voting in this, not this one, but the next election. So it's changing, and Hardin knows it's changing. His ability, that's why he's starting to hit things on the south side, because that's probably going to be his region. He'll be, his district will be the south side, because that's where he lives.
But Mark, I thought that the districts, that even though they're working out these districts and they're expanding city council, it's still going to be, this is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong,
citywide
but I
vote.
think it's still citywide election. So it's like people all over the city will be voting for who represents the south side and the west side.
Correct.
Doesn't make any sense to me. If we did that with Congress, we'd be voting for who represents New York and California, and they'd be voting for who represents Ohio. It makes no sense.
Well, the Tina race just show that is kind of what's happening. Not Nina Turner race to show that that's what's happening. Other people around the country are deciding who represents her area.
Right. Well, this is going to be actual voters, not just money coming in, but actual voters.
Yeah, I agree, Kathy. That is sort of where they're heading, and I am the whole formula that is out there is a strange formula, and we fought against it. Free Press fought against it. We have fought against it, but this is where we're at, is that it'll be expanded. There's going to be 2 more city council members within a year. There's going to be 2 more city council members, then 7, there'll be 9. And then they will have responsibilities to be on the districts. How that plays out, your question is very valid, very valid, very valid.
So the LDF sent a letter to city council and told them that I think it's available on the website for Everyday People for Positive Change. And it was a long document, and every page of this letter, half of it was text and the other half was footnotes of different court cases that backed up their contentions that there are 2 aspects of our city council that are unconstitutional and have been found unconstitutional in a number of other cities in the Midwest. And they are, 1, not having district voting, that when you vote citywide, the district's vote gets canceled. And the second thing that was unconstitutional was that like 37 out of the past 35 city council members resigned midterm and were appointed and then were ran by the Democratic committee as incumbents. And that has been found to be unconstitutional because they're specially selected. So it's a selected, not elected city council. Yeah. And so they sent them a letter, threatening to sue them. And that was when city council came up with a great idea that, oh yeah, we're going to have district representation, but it's still going to be citywide voting.
Yeah.
And you should look online and on Everyday People for Positive Change.
Yep.
It was in the dispatch too.
Yeah, thanks, Winnie. Yeah, it's you, Kathy, your question, Winnie, your support of that question is very, very valid, very valid. Where we're heading as a city council.
And it doesn't matter that it's a minority, majority city council. They're all, their main top concern is to appoint developers or developer-friendly people on city council. And the statistic that tells this is that in 2017, the University of Toronto did a study and determined that Columbus was second in the nation for economic inequality between the neighborhoods. So that the poor neighborhoods got poorer and the rich neighborhoods got richer. And that brings me to this rally that commemorates the March on Washington being held in Clintonville, and has, well, it does have Crazy Justice Ministry, Crazy Faith Ministry, who's a Black
Reverend Smith.
minister. And then it has Freedom Bloc, which is an Akron-based voter registration group, as far as I can tell, but no Columbus Black activist groups are sponsoring it. And would they really appreciate commemorating Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech in the corner of North High and North Broadway? And so,
So Columbus Stand Up is one of the sponsors. They're a Columbus-based African-American majority group. And they're one of the original sponsors of this. It was chosen, the reason that intersection was chosen is because it's busy on a Saturday. We talked about having it at the State House, but no one's at the State House on a Saturday. So we wanted something where there would be a busy intersection and a lot of cars would go by. It's partly a honk and wave, and just where more people would see what was going on and see the message.
And also, the intersection has been, since I would say 2003, maybe even 2001, an area that progressives have felt comfortable go to. So yeah, we're not a sponsor of it yet. We haven't. And Free Press, I think we should sponsor it, co-sponsor it as an organization, but we have not yet. And we're just relaying that it's happening. And actually Harvey, who is one of our editors, is part of the national mobilization that is going on. And early, he signed off on this early. And NAN, the National Action Network, who Reverend Sharpton is part of this call to action. A lot of people, when you start talking about challenges in who is calling things, he has always been challenged in his ability to call major actions. But this is a historical recollection. We're trying to do something locally, and let's support it. I mean, we didn't call it. We're not the folks that are key to it, but we'll, yeah, go ahead. Who's saying Mark? Yeah, who's that? Please. Yeah, so let's try to support as best we can. Go out every Saturday if you don't want to just be there 28. Every Saturday, Afghan and Joe and all those folks are out there every Saturday, 12 to 1. Every Saturday since 2003, they've been out there. And in 2003, there were 500 Clintonville people. Families for Peace and Justice is what they called themselves. This was major before we even were able to organize anything. I mean, there was no organization behind it. It was just a call, boom, it happened. North Broadway has been a site for action. And so they chose it. I mean, Reverend Joan is from Unitarian Universalist. She's just down from the street from there. So, she feels comfortable there.
You're like in slow motion.
Huh? Slow mo, baby. Slow mo. So thank you, everybody, for continuing to be part of the Free Press Salon. We are going to continue to do these online, but pretty soon I think we're going to have to do it. And Suzanne and I have started talking about possibly rotating it around the city. So if you have particular locations that you think would be valid for a salon to happen, this won't happen immediately. We're not talking immediately, but if we can do it in an African-American community, whatever that is, if we can do it in a Hispanic community, let's do it. If we can do it in an Asian community, let's do it. If we can do it in a progressive community, let's do it. Find those places and let's do them, okay? It's not that we're opposed to it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And it's not going to be live. We're not going to do live for right now. Stephen, you go ahead, please. You got your finger up, Mr. Stephen Caruso. Did you mean to talk or no? Enjoy the weekend, Chuck Lynn says. Anybody? Anybody? We are going to go live sooner or later, just so that you know. And Mary Jane, be ready for that because we need you. All right. Yes. So you know I've been live on my whole existence. I've not cowered away. I've put my mask on and I go wherever I go. Yeah, there's a challenge for folks health-wise. We understand that. There is a challenge. I mean, I've had no less than 20 people die in the last 2 years, whether it was overdose. Overdose was the big one, or COVID. But overdose was the big one. I had over 20 people I know die in the last year. It's been a very bad year, very bad year. So I don't know, but it's been a great year as well. I mean, there's been some very good things that have happened. I don't know. Anybody's concept on that? I mean, I don't want to end with a downer, but it has been a very difficult year. Charles, go ahead, babe. You're petting your cat, and the Cincinnati Reds lost.
Yeah, everybody just gotta hang tough. We all get bummed out about certain things. I mean, it's natural. We've been under a lot of pressure for the last year and a half. So y'all just take things, you all just gotta take things in stride and take care of ourselves, take care of each other, and things are gonna get better. You gotta believe that.
Because it's not going to just happen because we want it to happen. We have to organize, though. We do have.
Oh, I understand that totally.
We have to be about it. We have to be about it to be about it. You know, that's the question. And so
you gotta do that self-care.
All these folks that are left on here right now are active in many different communities. If we can unify those communities instead of constantly thinking silo. Yeah, we all want to be about something different. How do we address that? And I really encourage all of us that are still left to write and be about putting it into documentation on the Free Press, website, on the Free Press paper. Yeah, the paper's not being printed, but it's a different reality. So please start writing. Write. Yes, please. Huh?
Mark,
Charles.
You.
Huh?
Yeah, I have to go pretty. What I like about is that I don't think people silos. I mean, you know,
You're breaking up, Sandy.
With Move to Men different times, you know. Okay, so
you're good now.
At any rate, I don't think we're in silos. I think when we whenever we reach out to each other, people seem to be very happy because we see the connections. There's different priorities in each one, but in the end, of course, this is why I'm with Move to Amend. In the end, it's all about, you know, fighting people who have a lot more money than us. But I don't know. I like the fact that people are concerned about all these other issues. And it's just a matter, there's so many issues and we keep getting hit more and more and more. The more successful we are, the more we're being slammed with other issues that we need to take up, and that's intentional. So anyway, I gotta get going, guys. I'll see you. Charlie, I got your message. I'll see you guys. Take care.
Thanks, Andy. Bye.
Get hold of me when you get a chance.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for this week. Mary Jane, I've really appreciated your leadership on so many fronts. I haven't told you that publicly, and I just really want you to know that your research and work has been so dynamic. It really has been.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Mary Jane, has anybody put in for infrastructure money or try to get on that bill for hemp?
Oh, that's good.
Hemp is not on that bill. Hemp was taken care of in 2018 farm after the 2018 farm bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was farm. It's agriculture, baby. It's agriculture.
So is there actually money going to support farmers to develop hemp production?
I think they're having some trouble rolling that one out. I think one of the things that it's a big issue in the hemp industry is the 0.3% THC. It's like an impossible number. It's like,
Right.
how can, you know, how it just doesn't work the plant's not stable enough so that you can guarantee that THC cap on hemp. And so that's one of the big issues that's being worked out. And I think it's kind of stalled the rollout of it.
Yeah, I just
Schedule 1. It's the only way. They got to do away with this stupidity patchwork of laws, and they just got to deal with it all the same way. The tax is fine. I understand that. It's just like taxing alcohol.
like they say, no laws are the best law. But you know, right?
I don't know. I remember the time when there were no laws and you risked getting arrested.
Well, I mean, for
Big
some
time.
things,
Some
I mean,
people
with
did
common
serious crime back
sense.
then.
I know. But I think, you know, with the climate change and all that stuff going on, that hemp is like the most prodigious plant on the planet, growing and absorbing carbon, and then we get all these resources from it at the same time. I mean, it's like screaming at us, this needs to be done now. Paint, varnishes, oil, fiber, paper, clothes.
Your lips to God's ears. I agree with you completely. I think we could solve the climate change problem if we just planted hemp. I really do.
And what was the infrastructure that existed before it made illegal in the United States? I mean, they had 58,000 tons of hemp seed in 1936 for paints and varnishes. That's just for paints and varnishes. What was everything else that was good?
Our Constitution was written on hemp, so there you
go. Right.
So if you look on the National Institute of Health for actual research on CBD, and there's this real research that says it's like a cure-all. It's like it's for epilepsy, for anxiety, for glaucoma. It just goes, it has there's different research that shows different organs that the different
That just shows you.
And it's very anti-inflammatory for the whole body, and yet for some reason it's not being promoted.
Yeah,
there are reasons.
Every article says more research is needed, like they have to absolutely prove what the research is already showing.
Good science.
Research is already showing it. So
that's basic research. What they're looking for are double-blind clinical trials.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of double-blind clinical trials because it's
illegal.
essentially illegal for
I
the
know,
feds
it's
to do
crazy.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, but it's
22.
It's just like the virus using the antibody to sneak into your cell, but we have a cannabinoid system that hemp fulfills and builds on. I mean, it's the most nutritious thing for the immune system. It's got plenty of.
THC out of the argument. THC is a very beneficial compound. It's the one that actually, cures cancer, if you will. So, don't leave THC out of it. It's a multifaceted plant, and I think that we have to don't look at don't make THC the boogeyman here and say, oh, we're going to opt for CBD.
No,
Let's look at it holistically. There's even more cannabinoids than THC and CBD, and each of those needs to be thoroughly researched.
Yeah, I am a little concerned about the flower versus not flower debate. I am a little concerned about the potency of things. But
is it over hybridized?
Yeah, I don't know the details. I just do what I do.
Well,
that's what I'm doing.
What do we do to wheat? We over hybridize wheat where it's got 92 amino acids in it now, and your body's like, oh, what's all this stuff coming down? I mean, you want to breed for THC, yeah, you can go off the rails with that, but that.
But you got to
THC's good. That's great.
You have to worry about the smoke attitude. So then flower versus the other. There's all kinds of discussion out there. I have total support of Mary Jane. Your work has been enormous in Ohio, and I know you.
Thank you.
You and Kenny have had bumped heads in the past, but there's that reality is there. I mean, there's. I know Kenny who can't love Kenny? Who can't love Kenny? I haven't seen him in a while. Is he doing well? Do you see him or no? I haven't seen him in a long time. I would like to see him more regularly. But
didn't he just post on Facebook that he was robbed or something? Or
no.
Well, he'd gone out to someplace in New Mexico, I think. And
yeah, I didn't know that. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, but again, your work.
And he made.
No, hey. Mark, did you start the recording yourself or hit that button? I can't hear you. You got to unmute.
Well, I got to run too, guys.
No, I died. All of a sudden, my Zoom died. I didn't do recording. I didn't push.
Mary Jane says she's got to head out.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mary Jane. And continue to do what you do and know you got support here for sure.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
I really appreciate that, guys.
Yeah.
I really do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Did you start the recording or do anything with the recording?
I don't know. As
soon as you left the room, it says recording stop, and I couldn't control it. I tried to stop it. It's still saying recording now. So hit your record stop button. And
why? I want to record all this, baby.
If you want to record it.